Hey everybody, it's Logan here from Red Bandana Gaming. Today we are going to take a look at, we'll call it my favorite or my top 5 PlayStation 1 games. Starting with number 5, we'll go Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Tony Hawk was a big series. To me, it actually got me into skateboarding when I was young. I was never really good at actually skateboarding, but this game, me and my friends would play all the time, whether it's part 1, 2, later 3, and then so on. We played quite a bit. Part 1 was fantastic. It's what got me into it. Soundtrack was amazing. It was a fantastic game, but when part 2 came along and it gave you that create a character mode, create a park, it was just the best. It was what we wanted, and it came so early on in the series in part 2 that, this was great. And then when 3 came along, it just expanded on it. But for PS1, that was it. This is my number 5 pick for PlayStation 1 games. Now, this list, a lot of you guys may not agree with. You might, think I'm nuts. But hey, let me know what you think once it's over. But that was number 5. And as you guys can see, I'm wearing a snazzy PlayStation little button-down shirt to go with this video. So, as we continue with the list, here's number 4. That would be, boom, Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve was a very different style RPG. If I'm not mistaken, it felt a lot like a game called Vagrant Story. But I enjoyed this better. I loved this game. I love the story, the narrative around it. I ended up watching the movie, and the book I was never able to get my hands on, but I did get the Japanese release of the movie. Very different, but similar in terms of, basis. Fantastic game. I really enjoyed it. Part 2 was good. Part 2 felt more like Resident Evil. This one felt more like an RPG. I like this game quite a bit. Ea Brea was a great character. Everything about it with the mitochondria and even Eve, I just thought it was great. And it had a really good sampler disc that came with it. And if you look at it, which I still have it in here, the disc came with Brave Fencer Musashi, Bushido Blade 2, which because of that, I ended up buying that game, and I actually did a video on it earlier on. You can go take a look after this is over and watch that Bushido Blade 2 video. Final Fantasy VIII, which we'll get to that, and Xenogears, which I know it was a good game I never got into, but that was this that it came with, and it was fantastic. This game was fantastic, and this is my original copy. Way back in the day, I think I was still in early high school. Maybe this came out in 98. I think I got it in 99 holiday. My sister bought it for me for, I think it was my birthday. She took me to the mall and I bought it, and fantastic. And now, number 3. So for number 3, it was a game that a lot of people love. This was really what started this genre. Very, very popular franchise would be an understatement if I just left it at that. But I never really got into it. Came out at the same time as Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64, and I chose that one because I had a Nintendo 64. I didn't get a PlayStation until 98, 99? 99. And once one of my best friends at the time let me borrow it, I just flipped. Thought it was fantastic. The graphics weren't that good in my opinion because I was coming off of Nintendo 64, but the game was great. I mean, and that game, oof. Let's just show you. Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid is my number 3 pick because to me, like I said, it's just a fantastic game. It's really how I feel started this stealth genre. Yeah, some people would say Tenchu and stuff. I can't remember exactly when Tenchu came out, but I know it was somewhere similar. But this was the game. Metal Gear was great. Its narrative, everything, the voice acting with David Hayter, everything about this game was just fantastic. Having to switch out the controllers to be Psycho Mantis, it did some things that we had never seen before, and it was just great. All these copies that you're seeing are my original copies from that I got when I was a kid. I actually can't remember if no. I did buy this one. It was my Metal Gear Solid VR missions. My best friend who at the time who introduced me to this gave me his copy because he didn't like it, and I just wanted it. So I still have it. I have all my original when it comes to my PlayStation collection. But fantastic. Fantastic game. So if you haven't ever played this one, get your hands on it, play it. It's great. Don't play it through an emulator. Play it on the original. It gives you that great experience. If anything, try to get your hands on Twin Snakes for the GameCube if you can't get a hold of this, but it shouldn't be that expensive. Just pick it up. It's fantastic. Great game. One of the best on the PlayStation. Now I'm going to get to my number 2. This might be a little controversial to some of you people out there, and that's fine. Everybody has their own opinions, and that's what this video is about. It's Logan of Red Bandana Gaming, his top 5, my top 5 PlayStation games. And this one will be Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII, to a lot of people, would be the best PlayStation game of all time. Some might think it's the worst. I wouldn't agree with those, but hey, Final Fantasy VII was the game that got me into RPGs. JRPGs, per se. Before that, even when I was younger for my Super Nintendo and Nintendo days, I played a lot of beat-em-ups, a lot of fighting games. The Ninja Turtle beat-em-ups, the Street Fighters, Mortal Kombats, Double Dragon, stuff like that. Those are the games that I really played back then. The Marvel games, anything with Captain America or Spider-Man, I played a lot of that stuff. Then eventually, come PlayStation 1, another one of my best friends, he recommended this. Once I got my PS1, I didn't get my PS1 until, like I said, 99. It was, I went to actually go get a Sega Saturn. I was saving, got the money, went to go buy a Sega Saturn. My friend was like, no, get the PlayStation. And I was like, I'm not going to get it. I want the Sega Saturn. So I went into the game store in the mall, and the guy said, hey, I have a pre-owned PlayStation. You should get it. It's better. I was like, but it's pre-owned. He's like, it's perfect. It's in the box. Someone bought it, traded it a couple weeks after they bought it, whatever. He brought it out. He showed it to me, and I was like, I really want to Sega Saturn. And it would have been my second Sega system. My first one was the Game Gear. So I wanted that Sega Saturn. But after about maybe 10 minutes, and I got to see it, he opened it up, and I was like, okay, I'll go with it. Couple weeks after I got it, me and my friend at the time, another one of my best friends, we were all part of the same group. We walked into the same mall. We went to a place that's Record Town, Saturday Matinee, I think is what it was. And he's like, oh, you got to get it. You got to get it. My mom had only given me so much money. This was still, I think I was in 9th grade at the time. And the game was $20. He's like, oh, I paid $50 for it or whatever they were at the time. And he's like, oh, you got to get it. This had just become a greatest hit, but it didn't have the green on it. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I bought it. Never looked back. One of the greatest games I've ever played. One of the greatest JRPGs of all time. Fantastic. If you haven't played it, I suggest playing this. If you're looking forward to playing the remake, I am, even though they took out the turn-based, and I heard they're going to change up the materia system, I'm still going to play it. I love the game. Do yourself a service. Do yourself a huge favor. Play this original. Find a copy of the original PlayStation version. Play it on the original PlayStation. Not the downloadable version. Play it here. Fantastic. One of the greatest experiences you'll ever have. My number 2. Yes. Number 2. Now, My number one is going to be very controversial to a lot of you, but the game, very great game. Again, in my opinion, but did cause some backlash in some way in terms of how it changed from its predecessor, and some people just don't like the story. I was able to relate to the story, to the main character. Certain aspects of it, not so much, but the character, the main character, I was able to relate to him. Um, and I just thought it was fantastic. I thought the storytelling, it was, I felt that they took the one before it and then just brought it up here. Again, most you people will disagree. Some of you will say it's the greatest thing in the world. Yes, I'm right. Hey, I even have a tattoo from that game. So some of you guys who know me personally or who are familiar with my Instagram or whatnot, you'll know exactly what it is. But my number one, Logan from Red Bandana Gaming, his choice, my choice, the greatest original PlayStation 1 game of all time is, yes, Final Fantasy VIII. Not 7, but 8. 7's what really got me into it, and as you saw from the previous release, the previous number 2 choice, that Final Fantasy really, is where I started. Final Fantasy 7. Once I got 7, I decided to pick up 8 when it came out. 8, 8, 8. So great. 7 was good, but 8 was great. Yes, 8 had visuals that had surpassed 7 in my opinion. The storyline was just fantastic, threw me for loops. I love the draw system. I like the battle system, everything about it, the story, the characters. I liked Zell. He was awesome. He had the face tattoo. Yeah, the face tattoo. People hate it, but whatever. The face tattoo. He was, and then Cypher always calling him Chicken, but Squall was the man. He was very much an introvert. He stayed to himself, and then he found Renoa, which brought him out of his shell, and very similar to a story for me back in high school. And when I played that, it hit home. The characters, how they all came from different places and ended up becoming best friends, and found out they all knew each other when they were children. And that story really, like I said, really did it for me. And it was a great game in my opinion. To me, it was the greatest of my PlayStation 1 collection. This is my original. My mom took me to get it. It was an early birthday present. Came out 9/9/99. My birthday was a month later in October. And this is what I chose, and it came out the same day as the Dreamcast. It's funny, but this is what I wanted. I really was dying for this game, and that's what happened. So I got this, and it's been my favorite ever since. No matter what anybody will tell you, fantastic game. So that is my top 5 original PlayStation 1 releases, top 5 games. And thanks for watching. And if you have any comments, if you have anything to say about the games that I chose, great, leave it in the comments below. Let me know. Hit me up on redbandanagaming.com. Head over to the Instagram, follow us there. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit the little bell here on our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it. It keeps us going. And hey, if you want a snazzy Red Bandana Gaming shirt or whatnot, head over to the merchandise section on redbandanagaming.com. Pick them up there, and I'll post all your pictures if you wear them, if you decide to put them up. Hey, I'm wearing a shirt. Definitely, I'll post it. I'll even make a video of it. That's great. Again, thank you for watching. And like we always say here, be legendary. Thanks again.